The Bart Winkler Show. I am Bart Winkler. Who cares? We got Michael Lombardi here, longtime scout, longtime front office guy, 3-time Super Bowl champion, new book coming out, which do want to mention in a little bit. Michael, so the big story in the NFL this week was Aaron Rodgers. And what it's like if there's hype for a movie for 5 months and then the movie comes out and every screen the film shatters and you'll never get to see the movie. What a terrible situation for him. I don't think the career's over for him, but that's going to be quite a journey back. What a range of emotions seeing that on Monday night.
It was hard. You know, he really looked like he was in a good place mentally himself. And, he was excited. There was so much hoopla around the Jets. And unfortunately, he had that calf injury before. You remember when Kevin Durant had a calf injury? And then when he came back off the calf, he tore his Achilles. Those things kind of have a way of maybe giving us some, especially on older players. But, he'll be 40 in December. Sonny Jurgensen had the same thing, walked off Yankee Stadium in 1972, never really played 8 more games after that. Dan Marino had it in 1993, and he played 6 more years. So it's a hard rehab, Bart. It's a hard rehab, and it's going to take all his will and all his competitive spirit to come back. But, he's under contract for $38 million, and so I'm sure he's going to want to come back. And why would you want to go out like that? He's too good of a player to leave the game like that.
His old team, the Green Bay Packers, they get a win over the Chicago Bears week 1. In watching that game, I didn't know how it was going to go. I mean, it could have gone a million different ways. What's this going to look like, Jordan Love? I still don't know what the Packers are, even after 1 week. I think Jordan Love is good, but I don't know what to make of this Packers team yet. We'll see against Atlanta this weekend. Did the week 1 performance of Love, does that change opinions on the matter? Is it, he's a good quarterback, he's not terrible? What are your outlooks on Jordan Love just after, finally, you've been asked this question. Everyone has. And we're like, well, I don't know. We've never seen him. Well, now we've seen, but still just a little bit of him.
Well, but I think we have seen a lot, though. We've seen that LaFleur has now changed the offense to Jordan Love. This is not Aaron Rodgers' offense. And this was something I wanted him to do last year. I wanted him to change the Aaron Rodgers offense to help out Watson and Dobbs kind of become integrated into the team, because it was too hard for them to play in Rodgers' old offense because it required too much experience. But that didn't manifest itself. This year, this is the Love offense. And I think what you're seeing is he wants to get the ball to the backs in the passing game. He's going to try to run the game. I know Dillon didn't have a great game, particularly running the football, but he knows he's got a good defense. And if he can keep Love from making mistakes and give him some easy throws scheme-wise, this is a good team. This was a team that was undervalued all offseason. That defense is good, Bart. They're good. And they've got good front 7 players. They can rush the passer. We're going to have to stop the run this week against Atlanta because that's been the Achilles heel of the defense with Mike Barry. But they should. They've got enough physicality up front. Walker being hurt could hurt them if he's not back to play. But I was impressed with Love. I think Love has to just accept the fact that he's a point guard. He can't replace it. No one replaces Aaron Rodgers. Just run the offense.
And I think we'll see that again. They've got Atlanta this week. Some other things I want to ask you about week 2 here in a moment. But there's a new book out. You're the author. It's called Football Done Right, Setting the Record Straight on the Coaches, Players, and History of the NFL. And I think what's cool is one thing that I've been talking about a little this summer is the NFL, man. It's just getting bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing keeping TV looking like what it used to do in the 70s, where there's no other water cooler thing anymore. That's what I was saying the other day. You can't go into work and be like, hey, did you see Big Brother? Did you see Masked Singer? No, but you can go and ask anybody of any demographic. You can go, man, that Rodgers injury. And now you're talking for 10 minutes. It's like the last water cooler thing left. And I think part of the book is just the journey of how we got to that point.
Yeah, I try to explain it. And for Packer fans, I try to really explain what Jack Venisi did for that franchise. It's really unfortunate that Jack Venisi who was the player personnel director during the 50s, drafted all those great players before Lombardi got there, all of them. You know, all the coaches might want to take credit for him. You read the reports, you go through them all, and he was responsible. Now, he died of a heart attack in November of 60, and Lombardi at the airport in December after they beat the Rams to win the Western Division, said, hey, we would not be here if it wasn't for Jack Fedisi. He built this team. And I feel like this book is trying to help him get some recognition from the Packer organization. They claim, well, he wasn't the GM. Well, I've done enough research to know he was instrumental in getting all those players, but more so instrumental in bringing Lombardi there. That was really key for them. So this book is a history lesson and trying to help people who I think have been lost in history a little bit. Clark Shaughnessy invented the T formation. Earl Red Blake at Army with the lone end. And then some of the coaches who can't seem to get into the Hall of Fame, Mike Holmgren, Mike Shanahan, they've got a huge winning percentage and they can't seem to make it to the ballot. So I put together a criteria, and then I talk about the top 100 players of all time.
It also, as we're talking with Michael Lombardi, the way that the NFL, because there's been like when the NFL started, we're talking 1919, we're talking 1920s.
Yeah.
It's such a completely different world than where we're living in now with TV. Everything was different. And baseball had its run, and boxing was like the biggest sport in the country at the time. Football just seems to everything kind of worked, and then the TV, and then the Monday Night Football, and obviously TV's been a big part of it. It's such a like made for TV event. Yeah,
and I read about television. I mean, without Monday Night Football, Miller Brewing Company would not have become a national brewing company. I mean, they took an advertisement on Monday night. Monday night in America, and I'm sure really in Milwaukee and all over, was bowling night. It was bowling night all over. Bowling leagues were everywhere. And when Monday night came on the scene, people either watched CBS or they watched NBC on Monday night or went bowling. And ABC took a chance, and Howard Cosell made it. I mean, he was the reason why Monday night, because people tuned in to listen to what he was going to say. And that game got advanced greatly. And then Brett Musburger, his ability to introduce gambling in a subtle way with Jimmy the Greek, electrified. And all of a sudden, the sports phone comes into play, and people are talking about the line. And, now football just gained this incredible momentum. And then Madden kind of helped it even further along with his performance on TV. So the power of television, and I have a whole chapter in the book on television talking about those three men, how they did it. So it was great. And it was fun to write the book, especially to try to bring some attention to this generation, not understanding that when I was a kid, we had to wait for Howard Cosell at halftime just to see one little clip of some other game.
Yeah. I mean, even growing up for me, it was NFL primetime with Berman and Tom Jackson, and you wouldn't know. And now it's obviously all over the place, red zone, everything. The book is called Football Done Right, Setting the Record Straight, Coaches, Players, History of the NFL. A couple minutes here with Michael Lombardi. I think that the thought coming into week one was AFC totally loaded. So many good quarterbacks. NFC, 3 or 4 good teams. I don't know. Detroit, I think that the fact that they went to Kansas City and won, I don't care who was missing, huge. Dallas, all of a sudden, and people are hesitant on Dallas because they haven't been to a championship game in so long, but they look pretty good. What's some of the week one maybe overreactions that maybe aren't overreactions? What are some things that you've seen after week one that you're looking forward to the rest of the year?
Well, I think you got to give Detroit credit. They scored 14 points and beat Kansas City. Their defense came out with 7. That was a pretty big win for them. If they can hold Kansas City to what they were able to do, 20 points, I think that's obviously they're improved defensively. Now they missed Kelsey, so you have to take that back. I don't think, Dallas played really well, but Dallas played the perfect game. I don't think the Giants are as bad as they looked, but the Giants try to play outside themselves, and that's not who they are. They have to play a certain way to win. And then for me, like when you look at Miami, they played really well. Tyreek Hill was incredible, but not everybody's going to play them the way the Chargers played them. That'll be a lot harder. Buffalo, to me, is the team that didn't play well, and they've got to kind of fix some things because what happened last year is happening this year. They're not physical. They turn the ball over too much. Josh Allen's great, but they got to play better, complete football. And I think we learned something from week one, but I don't think we can conclude anything from week one.
That AFC North, like Pittsburgh, I didn't think they'd get dismantled.
They laid an egg. They laid an egg.
The Browns going into Cincinnati or playing Cincinnati in Cleveland, just a dominant performance. I would think that Cincinnati has a bounce back, but the Browns, if they get, because the NFL, it was Mahomes has been one for a long time. Deshaun Watson was kind of close for a while, then he was gone. But if he can not be bad, that Browns team might be the team to look out for.
Well, look, they play great defense, but the rain was really a factor in that game. And you can't dismiss that. The rain really played a huge factor. But this Browns defense is for real. And this Browns offense can run the football. Chubb's outstanding. And Watson doesn't have to be second to Mahomes to be good. He can be in the top 7 or 8, and this team will win. Cleveland's a very talented team with a talented roster. Challenging to play them in Pittsburgh. They have not finished ahead of Pittsburgh, Bart, since 1989 in the standings. So this is a big game for them. This is a statement game for Cleveland. Are they for real? Because if they start out 2-0 in the North, that gives them a hell of an advantage.
Week 2 is so fun because after week 1, it's like, all right, we know stuff. And then after week 2, now everything changed. So looking forward to that. Always good to get some perspective. Good. Congratulations on the book, and a pleasure to talk to you, Michael Lombardi. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Bart. Appreciate it. Thanks anytime.